Hello and welcome to another episode of DCU Daily, and we are back with more behind-the-scenes look at this new Superman movie. It's shooting in Cleveland, and it has been all week. And each and every day, we get some new looks at things that are going on. Whether it's elements of the set, we saw a newspaper article featuring some adventures of Superman that we want to talk about today. We have seen a lot of looks at a scene, where Mr. Terrific is running on a street, seemingly, in the middle of some sort of an action sequence. So we're going to get into that as well. We also want to dive back into some images from a couple of days ago when they were filming that Superman getting arrested sequence. And there's some images that we haven't gone over before, kind of speculating a little bit more about who the mystery character is that's in a mask and a full body costume. We don't quite know who it is. We have some ideas. And the shots that we're going to get into today will hopefully give us a better sense of maybe what the story is, at least the context within which Superman is being arrested here, and maybe what it is for. We also got a photo from James Gunn with the cast, and there's a actor in that photo that we weren't really sure was in Cleveland for filming, but he's in the shot having dinner with the rest of the cast, so maybe he is, and we'll get into that. And I'm sure that there'll be more than that along the way as well. As always, we have fan comments to get through at the end of the show, so we will do that as well. So without further ado, let's start diving into all these topics. And with me, as always, to do that, of course, we've got John. How are you doing today?
More and more set photos. This is getting crazy, but we have a bunch more to get through. Not as many as the past couple days, but still a bunch. So I definitely want to talk about these, especially with more talking about the theories regarding our Man in Black that has not been, released as of yet, obviously. So I definitely want to talk about that. So let's jump right into it because I have things to say.
Oh, I know you have things to say. You have. Well, okay, so let's dive into it straight away here, right? So the first thing we want to get into is really what seemed to be the big sequence of the day today. They were filming some action sequences with Mr. Terrific, of course, played by Eddie Gattegi, who is an actor that I really just love from For All Mankind. He plays a fantastic character there. He's, probably one of the smartest characters in that show, in the world of For All Mankind, this alternate history show. And of course, Mr. Terrific is also one of the smartest characters in DC. So, I mean, whether you want to call it typecasted or not, the fact of the matter is we have Mr. Terrific here, and he's in action, and I can't wait to see more of him. And here we go. So you can see they're obviously on some kind of a dolly here, following him as he's running with some sort of device in his hand. John, as I go through these photos, feel free to speculate or give us an explanation of maybe what
That
is
might
going on
be
here.
something to control either maybe his spaceship or his T-spheres that he has
Yeah,
accompanying him. So that might be something of his to, his, now it looks like he has a box of Cheez-Its.
yeah.
I mean, Cheez-Its are pretty delicious, so not gonna lie, I can't fault him too
Are there
hard for that
dog
one.
biscuits? They say there might be dog biscuits. That's interesting. Um,
Okay. So teasing Crypto, Crypto isn't
yeah.
he's being a bad boy and I fucking need him to do something here. Fucking dog. I think that would be
Yeah.
funny.
Yep, James Gunn, of course, on set directing, as he should be. It's interesting. One of the things I noticed about these cameras, there's a closer
Oh,
shot of this that I'll
you
tell
could
you.
sorry to cut you off, but you could see a pet store in the background. You see all
Yes.
furry friends come in, so that definitely maybe there's a scene where
Oh yeah.
that could be a good scene. Like Superman's off doing something, and then during the rubble, they crash into a pet store, and all the dogs start running. So he needs to
Yeah.
get dog biscuits and bring them
Yeah.
back. I think that could be
Uh-huh.
kind of funny.
That would be funny. I mean, and also we'll go through more images of it. That the dog store, the windows have been broken. There's a big, gash in there. So like somebody or something went into that, maybe got flung into it. This is a closer shot, of course, of Eddie Gattegi running with his main computers or whatever device he's got in his hand that he's using, and you could tell even a little bit more detail on his chest there. You see, there's a bit of a symbol now that
Hmm.
we're a little bit closer in on this image. Like you can see that this detail we haven't
Enhance,
quite
Abby,
before, you
enhance.
know?
Never watched
What
the
do you what do
show,
what do you
but
think? Well, but, everybody knows, like, even back in the days of the X-Files, they would be like, "Can you zoom in and enhance?" And all you get a couple of wipes, and it looks way sharper. It's almost like, Photoshop. Well, Photoshop didn't really exist back then. Only Pixar probably had it. But anyway, I digress. Or ILM, I think I should have said. But what is that symbol on his chest there? Is that a Mr. Terrific thing? Like, is it, or is this comic based, or what does that look like to you?
Um, I don't know. That might be like his type of logo. Maybe it's just like a chess piece of some kind. Maybe it's just like a costume thing where it's like, this looks cool. Let's put it on there. I feel
Yeah.
like it's probably that last one. But yeah, I don't think it's anything too crazy. But we kind of see that he has like almost like a phone type thing in his hand. Like it kind of looks like a phone, but it's like not. It's like kind of at an angle. So it looks yeah. So that he might be like trying to like control something, probably his T spheres, if I were to guess. Those are probably going to be CGI. So that's my guess. Yeah, I don't think anything on his front is like anything special. It might be a logo, it might be just that kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, let's keep ball rolling here. Let's keep going here with more pictures, because this isn't the only thing. And I wanted to kind of point out something a little more behind the scenes, in the process of filmmaking. But you see here, like what they've got is a camera that looks very small for a film camera. Usually you'd see like it's a bigger rig. Now what you're seeing here is, of course, they've got a stabilizing rig that the camera's mounted on. Like you see up close, there's a sensor, there's a camera lens, there's there's light sensors, there's motion sensors, there's, of course, a sensor that is actually taking in the light from the camera. And then you see this big cable running from the side here, right? And this cable is then running into this backpack that the camera operator is carrying. You can see they've got headsets on. So these two ops, you see the op on the left side, I think it's a she, yeah. So she's carrying a backpack here, which has transmitters at the top, a battery you can see hanging off the back there, and all the image processing is happening there. Now you also see that there's view screens mounted here, so like the camera monitors, so that the cam ops can see on this rig what they're shooting. But you see this, so usually a camera body, and this is a small, behind the scenes camera, like if you're a nerd and you want to geek out about how they film movies, let's just kind of spend a little bit of time, because I think you'll find the connection cool. Well, usually a camera, you have the lens, then you have the sensor behind it that takes in the light information and turns it into an image, and then you have all the processing, the microchip that powers the camera, and everything is all one piece, right? You see a big film. We have all seen film camera photos. We all know what the rigs look like, right? Like more or less, that we know what when we see one, we can look at it and be like, that's a film camera. And if you're a creator, or if you are a filmmaker or a videographer, you've got cameras, you know what that feels like. It's all generally one package, whether you put it together with a lot of, you may build your own rig, or if it's just like, off the shelf camera. What you see here is some of those essential components being split up. Now, this is something that they originally started to do, I believe, if you watch the behind the scenes on Avatar, what's the newest, The Way of Water, Avatar, The Way of Water. James Cameron talks about how he wanted more freedom of movement and get even closer up with the actors, still be able to do like the 3D stuff that he wanted to do, and he just didn't want this big bulky camera rigs, but he wanted all the advantages of like these advanced sensors and lenses. So what they did is, I think it was Sony that gave them these cameras where they essentially said, okay, so you have the lens and the sensor in like one piece, and then you can rig that on whatever you need to rig it on. Then we're going to run a cable that's going to transmit all that information that usually is all internalized into the camera body, and then all the processing is going to happen in that backpack unit, and that's where your battery and the transmitter is. It's all there.
I did see someone else, one of the other photos. Remember when Superman and Mr. Terrific were like kind of shaking their hands? He wore that similar backpack, so it seems like
they're doing this a lot.
Doing that a lot. You could try to find it. There he is. Yeah, see that kind of similar back. It's got like the weird fucking things. It looks like a fucking like a cosplayer's like proton pack almost.
Yeah,
like it has like
if you were to break this down, I mean, I can't identify everything, but like
I
these
mean, you
two
got some
big things
it looks like you
here.
have some XLR cables. You got some,
Yeah.
you
Well,
know,
so you've got two batteries here, the two big batteries. You've got this thing here with the antennas. That's the transmitter. So that the video village where the DIT, the digital, everybody who ingest all the footage, they're getting at least a live feed for the director, and then they're ingesting footage, probably maybe wirelessly or not, that I don't know. The image processing unit is in the center, all the cables are wired up, and you see the covered cable that has all these different wires that are bringing the image information from the camera itself going down towards wherever that camera actually lives. And this separation of these units allows for the film team to be able to get much more versatile
right.
camera
So
rigs.
you're not lugging
You're
this
not
huge
limited.
thing around. Maybe
Exactly.
there's less likely to, like, I remember like there were tons of incidents of like cameras breaking. Like I remember
Yeah.
like when Christopher Nolan was, I think, filming Dark Knight, like two of the
With like
IMAX cameras broke.
IMAX cameras. Yeah. Yeah.
On the
Yep.
set of Blade
And those things are
Trinity, there was
huge. Like
those things. Yeah, those things
yeah.
are fucking massive.
Yeah.
Um, and then on Blade Trinity, I think Jessica Biel like shot an arrow and then at the like towards the camera,
Yeah.
and the way that the protection just didn't work, and it just went fucking through the camera and broke it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like less of a hit. You're not like, it's not too bad. Like obviously the backpack is probably heavy, but it's not as bad as like, your arms are about to fucking break and you're holding this huge ass camera, and then the action scenes will be better. You could do more handheld stuff. It's overall better. So, and plus, loving the retro Dairy Queen logo in the background, loving
That
that.
looks nice. I love it.
Um, oh God,
It's genuine
bruh,
Dairy
now I want
Queen.
more. I just had ice cream. Now I want more. Now I want specifically Dairy Queen.
Dairy Queen ice
So,
cream.
oh, God.
And you know what? We're both on the East Coast here, and it's a little late for most Dairy Queens to still be open. But I'm like,
Yeah.
damn, I might hit the nearest one tomorrow, because it's
It's the cone with the curl on top. It's
cone with the curl on top. Hell yeah,
good, like a good Oreo blizzard. Like, ooh,
dude,
I remember.
a
Oh
chocolate
my God,
banana plane,
I remember there was
soaring
another
through
one.
marshmallow clouds. Sorry, go
Remember they
ahead.
had one. It was like I think it was like Oreo, or it might have been something else,
Yeah,
where they had like a fudge inside, and I'm like, oh,
dude.
that was
Yeah,
fucking good, man. Sorry,
yeah.
we're going off track, but like,
No,
again, I'm a
hey,
fat guy. I see Dairy Queen, I
dude,
get
ice cream all
excited.
day, all day, all day. But like,
So
look, it's also but going back to the camera thing, you can see here, this is
yeah,
the same cam op that we were looking at from a few
hmm
days ago with Superman and Mr. Terrific. Like you can see that it really, because your back is able to pull more weight than if you were to put everything in your shoulder and your hands,
right.
and you can make these much
It's
lighter
more
camera
evenly
rigs.
balanced.
Exactly, and then it just makes for an easier shoot day, because these guys are filming for 10, 12 hours a day, like 5, 7 days a week. Like, and so, you gotta be able to like make your life a little bit easier. And technology here, of course, is helping us do that. And you're still getting fantastic quality pictures while you have a camera system now that is, really designed for long, long days. And especially like, with the video village where the director is sitting probably far away from you in a situation like this where you're filming on a huge set, and he wants to be able to see what the camera sees. And of course, you get the sound, audio op
Trying
there
to
as
get that
well.
boom mic into the shot.
Yeah, well, and those guys like do a lot of work, and often go unrecognized, but great sound
I
is like
mean, he's not
70%
pink booty shorts
of the
guy from
picture.
Star Wars, but he's doing a
Yeah,
good
but
job.
he's doing a good job. Let's appreciate that. Absolutely. Here we go. We got the slate there. So Henry Braham, who's the cinematographer, and James Gunn, the director. And it looks like they are doing what is that? That's shot number 191C.
Yeah.
So take one. All the cool insights into
Yeah,
that.
and as you were
From
saying
the first
before, the
AD there.
window is broken as well.
Yep, behind her there. Yep, yep. And of course, you can see this is another look at the camera system, and how that's set up. It's looking, really, really. I mean, as a film nerd myself, I'm like, this is the kind of rig. Like, I hope it becomes more accessible to smaller budget productions over time. But the clapboard looks nice. So here we go. This is James Gunn now directing through the busted glass in that pet grooming shop.
What is with
um,
recent DC films and pet shops? You
It's
had
I
the
don't
one
know. It's
in Zack Snyder's Justice League, and now you have this
Yep.
one. It's like, all right,
It's just the classic comic book thing, and I don't mind it at all. I mean, old glass aquarium, it got broken into. It looks like that aquarium is definitely not there anymore. I wonder where the fish are.
make some sushi.
As Yeah, exactly. After a long day's work, you want some sushi, and of course, it's hot. Like it was where I am right now on the East Coast. It was like
Yeah, I
85
don't.
degrees all day.
I
So
feel so bad. I don't know
Cleveland,
how hot Cleveland was, but if it's
yeah,
hot like it was here or like Midwest, like
yeah.
where like Ohio kind of is
It's
kind of in between, I feel so bad for Gethegi because that man is in a
that's
full leather outfit, and I'm like,
dude.
oh,
Yeah,
his
biker jacket,
balls are probably a fucking swamp.
fire.
Swamp ass, swamp back. He's just drenched
Yeah,
underneath that outfit.
dude, he's got that cooling like jacket on. Like this, so they got him on there so they can protect him from the sun, keep him a little cool. You can
Yeah, he
see
doesn't
in
get
between the
sunburn. Yeah,
takes. Yeah, it's I mean, and you know the cam ops, of course, back again there with that running shot. They're getting different angles and plenty of coverage. James Gunn, of course, doing his thing as always, giving some advice on set to the crew. I don't know what this device is that he's carrying. They're probably, if you do ever get to see the screen on it, it's going to be all CG added in post. But there we go. More and more looks at Mr. Terrific, who I hope can break out and to his own in the world of DC. Give him his own TV show, give him his own movie if it warrants it,
yeah. I
because
mean,
it's an
they keep
underutilized
announcing more
character.
stuff. Like they announced Teen
Yeah,
Titans, they
why
announced Blue
not?
Beetle. Like,
Yep.
sure, fuck it. Like I don't know if they're gonna set it up here because with the Authority and we have had so many theories on like the Authority, because in terms of the characters that we have, so we have Mr. Terrific and Metamorpho, who were part of the
Yeah,
Terrifics in Rebirth, which was kind of like an updated version of like Fantastic Four, even though technically DC had their own Fantastic Four in the
yeah,
60s that predated Fantastic Four. But Challengers of the Unknown was the OG DC Fantastic Four, and then with Terrifics, they had Plastic Man, Mr. Terrific, Metamorpho, and Phantom Girl, as part of like their kind of like Fantastic Four. And so people were assuming like, oh, maybe they'll set up a Terrifics thing. They're obviously setting up Lanterns because Guy Gardner is here, and with how Lanterns is being fast tracked, it just got greenlit officially. We have the executive producers, we have all that, so that seems like that's going to be the next. It seems like that's going to be the next show after Peacemaker, even though he
yeah,
confirmed that Waller was going to be after Peacemaker. So I don't
yeah,
know. I don't know. Like, who knows what the actual timeline is? Maybe they're still hard at work at Waller, and it's farther along than we think. Anyway, and
yeah,
I was also commenting, theorizing that, oh, maybe they're going to have like a Justice League International thing because he keeps posting about Justice League International. They have Maxwell Lord, they have Guy Gardner, they have all these characters that were in Justice League International, so they might be doing that. So there's like a lot of teams that can be set up from this, and
yeah,
I think that would be a really interesting idea. Because obviously they're going to eventually set up the Authority. That's going to be like a given with the film
yeah,
coming out, whenever that's coming out. I assume it's going to be 2026, but that's just my theory. But they're setting up a lot of stuff here, so I would, with Terrific and Metamorpho, I would like to see it. I wouldn't mind seeing like a Terrifics miniseries to come out of this, like maybe an
yeah,
animated miniseries, maybe a live action miniseries, but not like a whole TV show. Like maybe to kind of like bridge the gap between like something else, this and something else. That could be really cool. Because it seems like Mr. Terrific has a big role here. Well, because we
yeah,
haven't seen Guy Gardner yet, we haven't seen Metamorpho, we haven't seen Hawkgirl yet. So it seems like maybe they have just really, really small roles. Maybe they're just kind of teasing the Authority with that. So who knows?
yeah,
But they're kind of just setting up a little bit of everything, and I don't
yeah,
know. It's exciting, but
yeah.
like with
I
those
mean,
two
the
major
skies have
characters,
grown.
it seems it
Yeah,
seems like
yeah.
yeah, it seems like they're setting up
There
a lot.
was no
Obviously, they're
direct.
setting up a universe, so that goes
Yeah.
without saying.
Yeah, but it feels it's being done in a way that that's a little more authentic than maybe what we have gotten in the past with DC, right?
Mhm.
Of course, you can also see like here's multiple cameras rolling all at once, and then you've got like the first AC there, but we're pulling focus running behind them in that little
Mhm.
vest. I mean, like I don't know how he's not hot wearing that vest, but anyway.
Again, I point to Githegi wearing a full leather outfit. You
Yeah,
just got to
I
do what you got
mean
to do.
it is, yeah, but before we okay, so let's that's Mr. Terrific right there for you. We went through basically every picture that we could come up with. And you could see that they were filming that sequence basically all day today. Now, in addition to that, of course, we wanted to go back to the potentially Ultraman, potentially Ulysses, this mystery character, Metamorpho, whoever this character is. Let's take a look at some of those pictures again from a couple of days ago, and look at how Superman was arrested, and I also wanted to kind of dive into again, the theories behind who this character might be, and maybe show some comparisons to the original character designs. There's a distinct you here in the costume, so maybe that's what is drawing some of the comparisons to Ulysses the Ultraman. But before we get to it, John, I just wanted to kind
Mhm.
of pull up this image here. You could see it doesn't seem like Superman is just going to be in a situation where um, they're
Yeah,
going to like see him walking with the cuffs on. It looks like they're gonna put him down on the
yeah.
ground on his belly and put his hands behind his back and arrest him just like an average
That's
perp. Like
yeah,
it's
that's
and
an interesting look.
it,
That's an
it's
interesting story beat, I guess.
it's sort of one of those things like do we used to see Superman like go through that on screen. I don't know if because in Man of Steel he sort of hands himself in and they just put him in the next shot. You see he's in cuffs and he's walking like, and so we
Right.
haven't quite seen this. I mean, maybe they cut it out, but I wonder, right? Like that's
Mhm.
uh, what do you think is going on here again with the? I mean, do you think this kind of gives us more insight into again like how this arrest sequence
He
is going
he
to go
might
down?
still he might still go willingly because it doesn't mean like that there was a fight.
Yeah,
Like it might just be like we got to bring you in, you motherfucker. Obviously, they're not going to say that. It's PG-13, but maybe
yeah,
like he's like they
mother
go like,
fudger. I don't
"Hey,"
know, maybe.
they're like, "Hey," that's the one F bomb they do. So like, "Hey, like you gotta come with us, blah 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 blah," blah. And like maybe the man in black, whoever he is, or hell, she is, could be a woman. Doesn't really look like the body type of woman, but who knows? I don't want to assume, but he might be like, "Hey, fucking just like Rick Flag Senior, Frank Grillo plays really fucking just like cynical douchebag characters most of the time. I mean, look at Crossbones. So I think it would just be like, just fucking get this guy no matter fucking what, and he just kind of like gives him like a fucking thing. He's like kind of roughing him up, and then he's like, "All right, I'll go with you willingly. It's fine." He's like, "All right, yeah, fucking get on the ground," and like
Yeah,
has that like
well,
sort
yeah,
of
it's
like
the precedent is there.
power dynamic kind of thing going
Yeah,
on. So that could be, and he's like, "Get on the fucking ground, your hands behind your fucking back." And then
it's just
and then maybe like someone like
yeah.
starts reading their Miranda rights or something. He's like, this guy ain't from here. He has no fucking Miranda rights.
Oh,
Get him the fuck
dude,
out of here. Even though
that's
that's not how Miranda
it's
rights work, but
hey,
still.
hey, Uncle Joe and Uncle Don are going at it, or Grandpa Joe and Grandpa Don are going at it. That's not the debate we want to be having here, but you could definitely get some of those themes in an election year. All that said, uh, I see your
Um,
comment in the private chat, John. I am not going to hang you out to dry, but yes, I do see it as well. You could see that the engineer is there, and Frank Grillo's, of course, Rick Flag Sr. is also there. As they oversee this arrest, and in addition to what looks like a dozen Marines, something to
oh
army,
yeah,
who whatever branch of the military. But I am very much interested in seeing how this sequence plays out, because I don't think we really. I think DC has sort of been very protective, rightfully so, of like having Superman be put down, like some dude who just like took an ice cream and did not pay for it at the corner store, and they just like the cops just chased him down and put him on the ground and are arresting him. Like
yeah.
there's a certain sense of like every man to that, like you're not treating him with like just the just and you because in Man of Steel and in the world of Man of Steel in the DCEU, it was like Superman was always like treated like this godlike being that everybody just was in awe of, or afraid of. And here it just doesn't look like that. I mean, what does that say about the character that's putting him down? Like, do you think that character is just as powerful, if not more powerful, than Superman, or is it just more of a matter of Superman sort of submitting to being arrested here?
Yeah, so I think this is a very interesting case. I know that the big theory, we mentioned this last time, how it's Ultraman, and I just don't think that's the case. Like, look at his body type. He's very bulky. He doesn't have, obviously that could change. Like, they could slim him down with CGI, make him look more like David Corenswet if they are going with the sort of bizarro Ultraman combination where he's a clone of Superman and he's Lex Luthor's like henchman or whatever. Obviously they could be doing that where it's like Bizarro and Ultraman. I don't know why they would why would you use Ultraman here? Like, that's the thing I don't understand. It seems like obviously James Gunn has a very good understanding of comics where he's doing his own thing, but he's being, he's doing he's adapting these comics. Obviously Superman for All Seasons and All-Star Superman are the biggest proponents of like the big source material for this adaptation. So obviously there's something there. Like, I don't feel like fucking James Gunn would like use the name Ultraman for like an essentially a bizarro character. I understand he has the U. That's obvious. The U is there.
Right.
He could be, like this could all be bullshit. Like, I remember that's the Ultraman from Crisis on Two Earths. This could be like, I remember was so much smaller, but remember how for Dark Knight Rises where they had Talia al Ghul's name on the tombstone to hide the fact that Bruce Wayne died. And so one of the few times that Christopher Nolan likes to use CGI, he CGI'd the tombstone in post and it became Here Lies Bruce Wayne.
Right.
They could be doing that sort of thing because it looks like can you go back to the other one? Because I want to see, like, they might have like mapping dots on him. Not really, but like
it's hard to tell. I don't see that anywhere that's obvious.
But you could make the argument that they would do that in post because I don't even think you need mapping anymore.
No, you don't.
In all honesty,
like in the it's famously in Avengers in Endgame, like they had all those that big sequence where they're all walking to the time machine. They all had their own costumes on because they didn't know what the team time travel costume was going to look like when they filmed it, and then they replaced it all in post production. Looks completely seamless. Nobody knew the difference until you see the behind the scenes about it. And that's not the only instance that's been done. Like, it's been done many a time since where they will replace parts of your costume, if not the entire thing. Like a lot of those Spider-Man movies, like with Tom Holland, like the costume is entirely CG and we just don't know. Like, or like they will have a CG double, like just jump in and Tom Holland will be in the same shot. It's so seamless nowadays. Even back to when the first Iron Man movie was being made, Jon Favreau was blown away by how easy it is for them to kind of like sync those pieces together. So I mean, I did want to also kind of quickly, just for comparison's sake, look at the other option, Ulysses. You can see here Superman on the left. This is from one of the comics. And you see Ulysses on the right. Now, that costume feels a little, I mean, just by the color and the fact that there's a U there alone, it feels like it might fit better with like what we're seeing on set, right? Like, do you think this is a maybe better comparison? And if so, then like, I mean, because again, you're talking about you wouldn't want to just throw away Ultraman, but like Ulysses, depending on which version, especially if you're looking at this version, the one that doesn't look like just another Superman with long hair, could they be doing that, or do you think this is a completely different original character? Like, what are your thoughts on the idea of Ulysses? I know we talked about it yesterday.
I think that would make more sense as like someone who's a lackey, like this kind of unknown newer character, because I don't think James Gunn would use the term Ultraman. Like, that's just, I don't know, it's ridiculous. And you're kind of barring off like the possibility of the Justice League fighting the crime syndicate. Like, I would love to see that. That would be great. I would love to see them fighting the crime syndicate. in a either Forever Evil adaptation or something more original. And doing that, and with using the name Ultraman, you're kind of, it's like, oh, I fought an Ultraman. Oh, I'm fighting another Ultraman, unless they change his name to something else. And it's like,
Yeah.
what's the point of that? So obviously, I'm gonna reiterate my theory that it was Metamorpho. That they're gonna kind of use the Doomsday thing, where he originally had a suit, but then battle damage ripped it off, and we revealed Metamorpho. However, I'm kind of rescinding that a little bit, only because Anthony Kerrigan is not that built. Like, that dude is
There's some padding.
If he bulked up a bit, I don't think he would look like that. However, there is someone else that has that body type, is just as tall, maybe a little bit shorter than David Corenswet, but with a couple inches in his boots, he can make him a little bit taller, and that's Nathan Fillion. I think Nathan Fillion is just a lackey for Lex Luthor at this point, because Guy Gardner had like a rocky sort of origin in the comics. So what he might do is, like, they might use him as a lackey here, because they didn't say specifically Green Lantern. They said Guy Gardner. He's Guy Gardner. So maybe Guy Gardner starts off as sort of like maybe like a bounty hunter, henchman for Luthor, kind of has dodgy origins, and like
I see.
He's doing this. Whatever the U means, I don't know. Maybe they're using, I don't know. Maybe they're doing something. But the thing is,
maybe it's not even a U. It's probably just something to do with the costume. It just looks like a U.
Something like that. Or like maybe it's like Metallo, and then it's just like the door or something. I don't know. But that could be another theory, that it's Guy Gardner, because Nathan Fillion is a very bulky kind of dude.
Well,
like, he's not. I don't want to say fat,
he's got
but
broad shoulders.
Very broad, very big. He kind of has this big thighs, big
frame.
Big frame. That's the thing I was going. So that's what his body. Now, I could be getting this wrong, and it's just another random guy with a similar body type, and it is Ultraman. But I don't know. I just feel like James Gunn wouldn't use Ultraman. I just feel like that's very tedious, and that's kind of boring. Like, a little bit. Like, oh, they're using Ultraman as some random guy in black and honestly kind of purpley armor. That's just boring. I think Ulysses makes sense if the U actually signifies something. I think Ulysses would make sense. Metamorpho could work, but again, he's too bulky. Guy Gardner could work. Obviously not Hawkgirl. That's the only other character we haven't seen, but I don't think that's Hawkgirl. So,
dude, it's possible there could be a character we just don't know about. Like,
we just don't know.
It's not like. Yeah, I mean, but it's interesting.
Or Midnighter. Midnighter's another one to set up the authority, but it doesn't look like his kind of outfit.
So. I was gonna say it's interesting that you do bring this up. That it's Nathan Fillion, because here's this picture that James Gunn posted. He posted an image of the whole cast going out for dinner recently. After one of the shoot days, and you can see it's got basically everybody that we have already seen on set in one way or another. But the one person that we see here in the back having probably the most fun out of anybody is Nathan Fillion. He's right there. He's the one guy that we have not seen on set yet, but he indeed is in Cleveland. So we were speculating the last few days, like, where was Nathan Fillion? Where's Guy Gardner? And so it's interesting that you bring up the idea that that masked character could be Nathan Fillion. I mean, in terms of his height, as opposed to like we could just do a quick comparison here for a second. I think I had the picture from the other day.
He's a little bit taller.
So you look at it, he's taller.
He's taller, and Nathan Fillion's 6'2", while David Corenswet is 6'4". However, his boots have a couple inches in them.
A couple of inches added up.
That might be something.
I think Nathan Fillion could fit into that suit better than just about any other actor that we have. I mean, we were talking about characters, but like in terms of actors associated with this movie, you might just have cracked the code. I think this could very much be Nathan Fillion. So yeah,
and the thing is, he's such good friends with James Gunn, and he doesn't seem like an asshole. It's like, why don't I show my face? He doesn't seem like that type of guy. He doesn't want. Nathan Fillion doesn't seem like an egotistical asshole. So he's like, you know what? I love James Gunn. I trust James Gunn. I'll be in this outfit. for the time being, and then I'll be revealed as Guy Gardner, and then maybe in a post-credit scene he gets his ring. That could be like that could be a cool sort of thing to do, because he has been non-clad in Green Lantern stuff in the comics. Like I think after Hal Jordan became Parallax, he became a character called Warrior, which and he used Sinestro's ring to like fight crime and stuff. So they could like kind of be using stuff like that, because that's like 90s, and it feels like James Gunn is very influenced by comics from the 90s. So that could be something as well, like kind of making that before rather than after. So that could be fun. If they are doing that, like kind of like throwing us for a loop, or just really throwing us for a fucking loop, and this costume isn't even shown in the movie, and it's like totally CGI'd and totally different.
Yeah,
because James Gunn. I mean, look at James Gunn right there. Look at that smirk. Like he's
loves smug, right. That's a smug smile. Like
he is such a fucking cock tease. Like he loves to be fucking smug and just loves to like have a one up on the audience. We think we know, because the thing is, he's a fan. He's also a fan. He knows how fans think. We're trying to like have all these stupid dumbass theories, and then he's just sitting there like, these motherfuckers. They think they know, but they don't fucking know what I got planned.
Yeah.
So you know, because he knew that this would happen.
Like people would be taking set photos. He's gonna take advantage of it. Yeah.
He's like, I'm gonna have a fucking one up on these assholes. I'm gonna fucking one up on all the nerds that are gonna dissect the shit out of this. So I mean, look at that. I would say keep this picture for thumbnails and use that face whenever we're theorizing something.
It's just because that is like the face in the corner of the image with whatever you want to put behind.
You know what it
reminds? It fits.
You know, it reminds me of that old meme of the girl watching the house on fire, and she has like this smug look towards the camera. That's what he looks like right now. That's what he fucking looks like. He's just like, you think you know, motherfuckers, but you don't know what I got planned.
You know what I got planned. Well, I mean, not for nothing. Fiona pointed out in the chat, they do definitely look like a family.
I don't have friends. I got family.
Why'd you have to do that to me? Why?
I just hey, when the viewers ask for it, I gotta hit you with the.
Oh well, by the way, guys, you're an inside spy. Double agent is doing it for you. So fuck you.
It is what it is, man. It needed to happen. If you guys are enjoying the conversation so far, we've still got lots more to get through, but definitely hit the like button if you're enjoying it, and hit the subscribe if you're new here and you're enjoying what you're seeing. We do live shows Monday through Friday with DCU Daily, and of course hit the notification bell so you know when we go live with a new show. Right now, let's kind of switch over and let's look at another picture that came out. Somebody snapped this up, and I saw this on social media. It's one of the newsstands showing an edition of the Daily Planet. I really don't know if we're going to get an insert shot on this in the movie or not, if it's just going to be some background detail. But just if you just look at it and you read the story for a second, here's the headline. It says, Superman fulfills a dream, flies cancer patients to the Egyptian pyramid. And the image there, that's slightly obfuscated by the Daily Planet logo, basically looks like Superman flying a school bus full of people over the Egyptian pyramids, in what is probably the most comic booky thing I have seen from this movie yet. And that's, of course, a movie where we have already seen Superman wearing red trunks for the first time in like a decade and a half in feature film form. So you look at this, and it just, to me, this is something that you can pull straight out of a comic book. This is about as
it's
DC
literally a comic book
as
image.
A super,
it actually is. I sent it to you already, and you can pull it up if you want. But it's literally, I don't know what it's from, but it is literally from. It looks like a newer comic, but of Superman carrying this bus full of people to the pyramids. And you can kind of see towards the bottom in the image I sent is like a hospital. So it's assumed like it's kind of the same context of, bringing cancer patients to the pyramids. Because it's like, this is what happens when you actually read comics. Zack Snyder, the comics. Wow, crazy. And there are other ones besides Dark Knight Returns. I know, crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, see, literally out from
There
a
it is.
comic, like perfect. Like it's so God, it's so great. That was when my friend sent me this, and I'm like, that is just perfection right there.
Yeah.
That is just great.
It's on point. I mean, and again, these are like small details where, again, we don't know if this is going to be featured in the movie in any way that is significant. But, ultimately we get to see, it made my heart smile. Like, it's something that made my heart smile. Like, when I looked at it, I'm like, oh my God, that is, okay. I'm like, as somebody who has been sort of, pessimistic about the suit itself, because I still think the trunks are not a good fit. I looked at this and I'm like, you know what? I'll probably buy into all of that when I see stuff like this in a movie, and you see this, because this kind of gives you a sense of what the tone of the film is going to be. And Jay Kelly in the chat now just pointed out that image that we are showing here from the comics is from All-Star Superman. So, yeah.
I still need. I have it. It's on my fucking shelf. I just need to read it. I know I'm terrible. I have it. I own it. I'm gonna read it eventually. Just I haven't yet. Maybe when it's closer to the release date, I'll read it and then see how it is. Because I have read Superman for All Seasons. I have read that. That was excellent. So I just need to read All-Star Superman. I know I'm a terrible Superman fan.
Look, we do get like montages of Superman saving things and people in Batman versus Superman. Like there's a sequence where he saves a rocket and like he saves people from a flood. Do you think we're gonna see sequences like that in this movie where he does, like, we do see him take a school bus full of people to the pyramids? Like,
I would love it. Like, it would be, be really cool. Yeah. Be really, really cool. Like, in order to incorporate these into the film more, is like we see we see these images, like we see the actual thing happening, and then we see like a camera shutter, and then it snaps the picture, and then we see the article, like the fucking spinning newspaper, like it, like in the like older like TV shows and films with the spinning newspaper towards the screen, and it's like Superman fulfills dream, and then like extra Superman fulfills dream, or like oh, he stops the bullet train.
That'd be really cool.
Oh, Superman stops the train, and it's like, we get that like sort of like cheesy montage. I'm like, oh, that could be really fun if they do in fact do that.
So that would be nice. That would be amazing. I mean, I think that's the kind of thing which will make people like heart smile, right? Like I think that's a good way to put it. It's also giving me now a greater sense of like what the spirit of this movie is and what the spirit of the character of Superman is, and that's something that is so essential. They have to capture it for this film. And it's looking like they will, because I am excited to see the world of this Superman, this version of the Daily Planet, grow and see where it goes. What do you guys think about it? Let us know in the comments below. It is one of the images of the week so far, in my opinion. And the fact that this is the kind of thing where I bet you that design will probably end up as like a graphic tee that you can buy sometimes. So I'm looking forward to that. We got some Snyder defenders in the chat, which, hey, look, we love some of those movies. I personally still think Man of Steel is the best movie of all time.
We got a Snyder cultist in the chat, boys. What are we gonna do about it?
But like, look, those movies had. I'm not Thomas. Thanks for chiming in, and I think those movies have their own merits, and they're still out there for us to enjoy.
I enjoy BVS to an extent, and I enjoy Zack Snyder's Justice League to an extent. They're not the most amazing, greatest films ever made. In terms of Zack Snyder, I think his best movie is Watchmen, without a doubt.
I think Man of Steel, we have different opinions, but yes.
But that's just me.
Yeah. Well, look, ultimately, I think you don't have to yuck on somebody else's yum to enjoy,
Oh yeah, of course not. Like if you if you like Snyder, that's okay. This is my opinion. I'm voicing it like you're voicing yours. That's it. Exactly. If you enjoy it, that's cool. I don't want to shit in your lemonade,
I mean, no, exactly. And if you don't like the new Superman movie, you can always go watch the Christopher Reeve Superman. You can watch
you have like a trillion other fucking choices to watch.
Yeah,
I'm gonna binge watch Smallville. Screw it.
For 10 seasons. Yeah, I mean, you'll not run out of those episodes anytime soon. But one of the things we like to do on the show is really, into fan feedback. and you guys have been leaving some fantastic comments. So before we get into
Mhm.
those, I wanted to kind of quickly look. The bulge has been a big point of conversation the whole week,
Yeah,
because
unfortunately.
the trunks. Well, I mean, it's just the trunks kind of stand out a little bit in terms of they're the some unseemly detail, or I don't know, like it depends on, I guess, your perspective whether it's unseemly or not. But I found this image online. Somebody put this together. I think their name is Akil Plus. They did a good job of just grabbing some similar profile shots of all the different recent Supermen we have gone on screen, including Tyler Hoechlin on television, and the other four being, in the movies from 1978 all the way through to the present day. And you can see, of course, Man of Steel, Henry Cavill did not have trunks. I mean, and Tyler Hoechlin's Superman doesn't really have trunks. Um, I feel like Brendan Routh got done dirty a little bit. That bulge is particularly bulging,
I
but
don't know. I'm
um,
seeing major bulge on the two that don't have trunks. I'm just like, look at Henry Cavill
it's
and look at Tyler
but the thing
Hoechlin.
is,
They
it's the
are
color. It's
pronounced.
the color, though, right? It's this because you don't have trunks, it doesn't draw your attention as much because you can kind of hide it with the cinematography.
I
I
don't know.
I'm
But
just saying,
God, looking at Brandon Routh's suit, I'm like, man, that could have been a fucking amazing suit if you didn't go with near shit brown for the fucking like who wants a maroon? Even the Zack Snyder suit, it's red. Like, why the fuck would you
yeah,
make it maroon? It looks like dog shit. Like, and it's a shame because I love the blue. The blue is great, and the logo, if it was a little bit bigger, it would be even better. But why did you make it brown? Like near brown.
it's
I know it's
yeah,
maroon burgundy kind of color, but
it's
like, it's just like if you just made that red, made the logo a little bit bigger, it would have been
yeah,
like the best Superman suit easily. That would have been
yeah,
like so good. But like honestly, my favorite out of these might be Tyler Hoechlin's. Like I love like that's his season 3 suit. Like
yeah.
the only thing I don't like the spray
Is
on
the
it.
way the
I
Yeah,
don't like
it's a little low budget because when you see the way they did it in Man of Steel, I think the Man of Steel suit is the sexiest suit in there. I also think that's my favorite suit because I grew up with it. But also my first Superman movie I ever saw was the Christopher Reeves movies, right? And I
yeah.
think as far as the bulge goes, when you have the trunks and we're talking about the bulge, it's really hidden about as well as you possibly can with the Reeves suit. Whereas I do realize that where he's got more of a brief situation going on, David Corenswet is more got the trunks, which sort of takes because I get it. It's sort of a you're look. I'm gonna say it. The trunks issue is kind of like polishing a turd, no matter what. Ultimately, from a pure fashion design sense perspective in the art department of any Superman movie, and they just have to find the best solution possible while staying true to the comics. That's just, I mean, practically speaking. And I mean, and you can hate me for the saying that, but I'm just like, for somebody like if somebody's working in the art department and they're not a Superman fan, that's how they approach the problem. As Superman fans, we want to see the iconic suit, and so I think the Christopher Reeve suit is the one where it's so iconic. It is. I love all the logos, but when you put all five of these side by side, the fact that the one on the far right, I think, has probably the most comic accurate blue tone to the suit that I want to
Mhm.
see, and it's also has a certain sense of it feels more essentially Superman than all the other suits do. In a way that you can tell all the other suits have been adapted for the movies in some way or
Mhm.
another. But David Cornsweat's suit feels like, I mean, other than the logo, which is less common version of the logo, as you can tell, all the other S's have like a more of a cursive vibe going to that
Rather than
about
the
them.
Kingdom Come look, right?
Yeah, like in the Kingdom Come look. But like other than that, the David Cornsweat suit feels more essential Superman, like comic book wise, than any of the other suits. And it's good to kind of put them side by side because then you can kind of like really see the differences. Um, I just enjoyed it, and Ron was pointing out in the chat that yes, it is for the ladies. Fiona is here for it, and yeah, you know what? Even Lois uh,
Lois Lane is
was
loving
looking at
it.
the
Like
bulge.
she's not complaining.
She's
Like
clearly loving
for
it.
all the ladies and the gay men out there, they are happy. They are happy. And you know what? Good for them.
Yeah,
I don't want to spoil their joy. So you know
yeah.
what? If you enjoy that bulge, enjoy that bulge. It's just like, just don't get Dan on his soapbox about it because, like, goddamn, bro, calm down.
I mean, hey, look, Marcus in the chat is like, this suit is heavily based on the My Adventure Superman in terms of the lines, which is true. The logo is very similar to that, and the collar and the crest design is, of course, from Kingdom Come. Plus, I think Thomas Beck said that if you search Corenswet interviews, he literally credits the internet for giving him all the Superman buzz long before the cast.
I mean,
is
yeah,
true.
pretty much.
People have been
Like,
fan casting him for years.
yeah, because it's like
true.
he looked so much like Henry
Yeah.
Cavill. But the thing is, on top of that, he is actually, I do think he's a good choice because someone actually made like a bunch of videos with like clips of his like movies and TV shows. It's like, this is what Superman is, and I feel like David Corenswet could do that. I would have to find them. I might send them to you, but like they're really like good. Like there was a real like there's like the only thing I know him from is Pearl, because again, I'm a horror movie nerd, so you know, I reckon, and that takes place in like the South Midwest kind of, I think specifically Midwest. I don't know. I don't think it's Kansas specifically, but like it has like major like Wizard of Oz Midwest vibes, and he has that like Southern charm down perfectly, and he has that charisma, and it's just like he just has that face you can trust. And it's just like he fucking nails it. Like
and dude, he looks like somebody like, okay, so we had this image of him as Clark Kent, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, in terms of looking at him dressed as Superman versus Clark Kent, they really made the two people look like clear opposites. You wouldn't be able to put the two together unless you really like paid attention and decided to like dig in. I mean, somebody with enough time could do that, but like the average person would not be able to tell the difference that, oh yeah, you are Superman. No. So I really do, and some of that has to do with the fact that his face is like, it feels essential Superman, and yet he's able to kind of blend in enough that you'd put pass him by and not know that this is Clark Kent, who also happens to be Superman. So I think I'm loving the casting from the look so far. I want to see, of course, how he ends up with his acting, and then just the physicality of the role itself with the fight sequences. I'm excited. Like I'm really excited. The looks we've been getting all week are fantastic. Of course, this article kind of blew me away. I can't wait to see what else comes of this. I love doing the bulge comparison because again, just you now see all these Supermen next to each other. It's fantastic. You could see that each suit has something to it that whether it's harkening back to different eras of the comics, or it's paying homage to previous screen iterations of Superman. David Corenswet looks like his iteration is going to mark out a legacy of its own. But this is not where we're going to end the show. We're going to get into some fan comments. You guys have been fantastic in the chat today, just having quite the back and forth, chopping Brock O'Leaf, Marcus. Yeah, the only thing I don't like about the suit is how big it looks. It needs to slim down a bit, Ron. Yeah, Ron, you're right. I think it's the curly hair, by the way, Fiona, that is a good point too. I do like the curl, it's classic. But we do need to maybe like see how he's moving in the suit, because maybe in the fight sequences, the suit will be pretty tight. And that won't be something to worry about at all. But it's also like you said, John, like he's Clark Kent. He's not Batman. He's not Bruce Wayne. He's not somebody who's had a stylist with him for most of his life. This guy just he's closer to Spider-Man in personality and how he puts his suits together than Batman or Iron Man, right? So
thanks. My mom made it for me. Like
exactly. Yeah. And with that said, guys, let's dive into some of your comments from the last couple of days. So here's the first one that we picked out. This is from when we were talking about Mr. Terrific and Lois Lane. The first looks at those from a couple of days ago. And BlackRock 316 said, "I like the suit. Either they were going to go with red belt or bring back the trunks to break up the blue," which is something, John, you talked about, that it does help break up the monotony of the blue that we saw with the Henry Cavill suit, for example, or even the Tyler Hoechlin suit without the belt. And BlackRock continues to say, "I was nervous at first about the trunks. I'm good with it. As much as I love Man of Steel, I didn't like the suit due to how it looks on screen. Great design, but like what was said in this video, he needed something to break up the blue, and the color grading for that suit throughout the film was all over the place. There's a picture going around with the new suit, and somebody changed the S, took the trunks away, and added a yellow belt. It didn't look that good," which is a good point. I mean, like it's a suit that sort of all the elements go together in a way that I think it it fits. It
I also
works. Like,
love how it
you see
has
the
belt
scene.
loops. I love how the underwear has fucking belt loops. Like that's just that's just level of
It's
dorkdom that I
yes.
love. It's just like, why
Yeah.
would it need belt loops? What are you holding up? Your underwear? That's it? Like, all right.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
It's
just like very, very dorky, and I
yeah.
love that.
Exactly. It's again very essential comic book Superman. But here's the other comment. Our second comment we're going to look through. This is from yesterday's show when we were talking about our first look at Lex Luthor, and of course we were kind of discussing that whole Frank Grillo with Rick Flag Sr., the engineer. Like, what are they doing there? Like, are they apprehending him? What's the nature of this arrest? What's the story? So Jay Kells had a theory that I think got a lot. There was a lot of comments in response to him, and people were getting into it and kind of like breaking down what this is all about. So he mentioned that Rick Flag Sr., the engineer in the U.S. military, being involved, the guy in the all black, in his opinion, has to be someone that works with the U.S. government, right? Like, so, and again, based solely on the comics, Ultraman and Ulysses are taken off the table because they're sort of these alternate Earth versions of Superman. So, like, how would they fit into the picture? And John, you've been pointing out the exact same thing. Taking now that into account, the engineer is wearing an all black suit, which we have seen her wear in other shots from before they even got to Cleveland. Now, it could be that they replace it with a lot of CGI. It could be that they don't. We'll have to see. But JKL says that he would imagine the other guys are dressed in all black for the same reason, that, you know, maybe there'll be some CGI added in. So in terms of what character could be all CGI that works for the government, that could go toe-to-toe with Superman in the comics, well, JKL suggests that it could be Captain Atom. What do you think, John? Like, is it Captain Atom that we are seeing there?
That
Like,
could be like he's wearing the suit
yeah,
to hide like his radiation, like
yeah,
so that he doesn't like fucking nuke people, or like it's keeping him like,
right,
you know, like from, because I mean Captain Atom his body is literally a fucking like nuke. Like he is an extremely overpowered character. So
yeah,
they might be just like, they might give him that suit just so like he doesn't fucking nuke people around him, and like his radiation energy is off the charts and he can't control it. So that could be it. Because I mean, and as well as the fact that James Gunn did have a couple posts like months ago about Captain Atom, so that might be like a tease for something. So that's, you know, interesting. An interesting theory, and I kind of like that. As long as it's not fucking, you know, Ultraman and he's a clone. I just think that's kind of lame.
yeah.
But yeah, I think Captain Atom could be good because it kind of, you know, the middle part kind of looks like an atom, I guess. But yeah, like that could, I think that's definitely a plausible theory. Most definitely, yeah.
Yeah, it could be, and it's also like, you know, mentioning Thomas again. Thomas Beck mentioned that Spider-Man and Black Panther suits were pretty loose when they were filming, and in the movie you don't see that as much, and it has to do with usually like if you want the ease of use and the movement, whether it's for stunt work or just being able to kind of move around in the scene, and they can tighten things up in post-production. It also depends on if you're shooting close-ups or, you know, wide shots, and so it's possible that, you know, the suit will thin out and maybe it is Anthony Carrigan's Metamorpho, or if it is, you know, Captain Atom, we don't know who's even playing the character. So, but good shout from Jay Kells there. By the way, the chat is just going off about like the idea, like Ron kind of perpetuated the idea that, hey, if this goes well, we might see a bulge on Batman in this universe as well. And I was like, well, I can already see Bat Bulge being a, you know, hashtag that gets trending on social media. And Ron also suggests it could be just Snake Eyes from G.I. Joe. Like, that would be interesting. I don't think that's what's happening here. Highly unlikely, but that would be very interesting indeed. So yes, now let's dive into our last comment that I didn't want to highlight from these last few days in the show. It's very simple and very, you know, well put. Farhad of Brooklyn mentioned on yesterday's show, a return to form was all that DC needed. And you know what? I think
That's
you
a
know,
good one to end on.
that's perfect. That is the good one to
It's
end on.
just like,
And
hey,
it's
actually respecting these characters instead of trying to reinvent the wheel.
yeah,
Like, it's fine if you can reinvent the wheel. Like, it's just like sometimes it just doesn't work. And
yeah,
you know what? They're like, okay, let's go with the thing that people like to see. And I know there's going to be a lot of people that are like, oh, well, that's boring, that's repetitive. But it's like, in this world, as we've talked about so many times, like in this world where like everything just fucking sucks. Like everything, like mental health problems are through the roof. The housing market sucks. Like nobody can find a job. Ageism is through the roof. Nobody fucking cares about anybody. Social media is fucking us over. We have two fucking douchebags who belong in a nursing home debating on the leader of the free world. Like, we are in complete and utter turmoil. Can we just get a guy that flies a bus of cancer patients to the pyramids?
Yeah.
Like, is that so bad to fucking
Is
ask?
that so bad?
It's like, it's, you know, that's all I want to see. Like, I just want to see
perfectly well
a
put.
nice smile and a nice, you know, maybe some action here, maybe some love here. Like, Superman is like an all-encompassing character. You can do so much with him. And it's just like, it's just nice to see like a guy just wanting to do good, wanting to be kind. The world maybe not reacting to it at first, but then realizing that, hey, you can trust him. He's great. Let's all try to, all we're saying is give peace a chance. Like, you know, just, we literally have a super powered Mr. Rogers who believes you're amazing and special. I'm all for that. Like, you know, just do that. And there's a reason this character has existed for 80 plus years. Sure, he's gone through a lot of incarnations by a lot of different writers. Some work, some don't. But the reason that he keeps going is because sometimes you just get that writer that just knows what he's doing and hits that right mark, scratches that itch. And you know what? We get that. And it blinds us to all the crap he's been through, like a lot of the dumber stuff. So, you know what?
Hey, it's
I'm open for this. I'm still cautious with some things here and there, like I am with everything, because this is a big movie, and you know, James Gunn has been, you know, noteworthy for putting too many jokes in his movies. So I'm cautious, but I'm optimistic. I am cautiously optimistic with this movie, and I just want it to be good. I want Superman to be, you know, just something to look up to be the hero we all need, to be the real role model instead of Omni-Man and Homelander. Let's have the real boy in blue actually give us something to strive for, you know?
Yeah. I mean, hey, look, Man of Steel might not have gotten everything right according to you know, a lot of people, but there were, you know, some moments that I still look back at. I'm like, you know, when his Kryptonian father is like telling him like, hey, you will give them an ideal to strive towards. They will stumble, they will fall, but eventually they will join you in the sun, Cal. Like that's the kind of thing, like, you know, that ideal, you know, and also on a more human level, just the idea of, you know, saving a cat from a tree, helping out a neighbor. And like you said, he's literally a super, you know, hero version of Mr. Rogers, who just wants to, you know, help you and tell you that, you know, you're a good person, you can do better, and you know, we all should be able to. And we live in a world where there's a lot of things that, you know, can drag us down, but Superman is here to tell us
one
that
of those things.
no, he's definitely not one of those, and he's here to tell us that, you know, we all deserve better, and we all can do better, and we should. So with that said, guys, of course, thank you as always for watching. The comment section, the live chat today,
Going crazy,
popping off, is going crazy. Is Lex Luthor wearing a ball cap? This is a good point. Is he wearing it? Let me just pull that image up real quick, because it seems like he wasn't he? Like on yesterday's show, we were kind of going through it.
Yeah, he kind of looked like he was, but you did mention that I think it's more the makeup. Like they had to put like splotches, and like you can kind of, when you turn your head, you can kind of see it. They might have put like something on his head to make it like shine. Because like, look at my hair. Like you can't really see it, but mine, like, the thing is, I still have a head of hair. I just choose to shave it because my hair is thinning and it looks like shit. So I choose to shave it off, and my hair grows like a weed. So I just shaved this yesterday, and it's not even close to cue ball. So I think in order to get the like illusion of like cue ball, they might have given him a bald cap, so that you can get more of that vibe.
It's just for consistency's sake, because you're not going to shave his head between takes. Like that makes sense.
Unlike Michael Rosenbaum, who pretty much had to keep his head shaved for the fucking 10 years that he was on that show, because they like couldn't make a bald cap look good, so he just had to keep shaving it. I remember seeing a commercial for one of his later shows. I think it was Impastor or something. It lasted for like 2 seasons. And I'm like, is that Michael Rosenbaum? I didn't fucking recognize him. He has fucking hair there. Like, what the? And I'm like, I keep forgetting. Oh yeah, the man actually has hair. Like, duh. But yeah, I think they might have given him like we've seen Nicholas Hoult go bald. He clearly shaved his head, so they might have like put a bald cap here just to make it like look extra nice and shiny instead of having like you could get a little bit of ASMR there, but like you can kind of hear like it's not a perfect cue ball. So
yeah. No, it makes sense. And when you're doing like 10 takes on a single shot, and then you got to do like 5 shots more to get a scene done, or probably a lot more than that. Like you want consistency. Like the script supervisor is going to be going mad if you have to like bring an assistant over to shave to get that perfect bald and glistening head between each take. So that makes sense. And by the way, Jojit Elizalde, I'm sorry if I completely butchered your name, but hi to you all the way from Philippines. Thanks for joining us live. Superman is an ideal to strive to and strive towards. And Man of Steel, I mean, I think Man of Steel did not fall short, but that's my opinion. A lot of people did not enjoy it, John being one of them. Your opinion of it has sort of soured over time, which is fair. But this new movie, this Superman film, it looks like is pressing all the right buttons so far, and we're going to be getting lots more pictures because they still have at least one more day of filming here. I don't know if they're going to be done on Friday, but we'll be back tomorrow to talk about much more regarding the Superman film, whether they're still filming more scenes. Maybe we get our first look with Nathan Fillion without a mask on, if indeed he is the man behind that mystery character. He is out there in Cleveland. We saw him in that set, not set photo, but a photo from a restaurant James Gunn posted where the whole cast is out having dinner. So hopefully we'll get to see him on set sometime soon. Mr. Terrific, of course, just to kind of review, Mr. Terrific has been on set today filming his sequences, his scenes. He's running on the streets. We went through some theories about Ultraman and there's just a lot to get through. And of course, as always, it's been great talking to you guys about all of that. Like, let me just kind of quickly show you Mr. Terrific running around on the streets in like probably 85-degree weather, which I'm like, he's probably sweating balls, like John said. Best of luck to him. Hopefully he gets an ice bath at the end of the day. But yeah, guys, thanks so much again for joining us. We'll be back. Oh, Nathan in a bowl cut. I'm pretty sure we're gonna get it because James Gunn.
Talked about it. James Gunn is giving us a fucking bowl cut. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding? No way we are getting that bowl cut.
It doesn't look like it in his pictures because he's got other projects to do. But when he gets on set,
she's okay. Cat Grant, Michaela Hoover. Yes, she's definitely wearing a wig. So because here, like her hair is black, but in the images they were blonde, and you could clearly tell that's a wig. So you know what? He is James Gunn being again with that fucking smug look he has. He is like Nathan Fillion, one of my best friends. Of course, I'm gonna fucking put him in a bowl cut. Are you kidding me?
I mean, he was like, that's one of the biggest reasons why I cast him, so he can put him in a bowl cut. I can't wait for that. I really can't wait for that. And yeah, I mean, look, as we mentioned it earlier, it looks fantastic. And you know what? The fact that David Corenswet always gets lost in these pictures goes to show you again that he's the perfect man to play Superman.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that was him in the back. So, I thought that was some
random. Yeah, he's like right there. I mean, in the previous cast, he's like right there. That's Superman. He's right there. Like I mean, of course, you see the mustache on Steve Lombard, like, because that's, of course, got to stand out.
And then you got Skylar Gisondo in the back.
Yeah, too. All the way in the back. He's kind of hidden away a little bit as well.
Yeah, that's Jimmy Olsen for you.
Yeah. Well, but hopefully he will get a bigger focus on him. We are looking forward to seeing, more pictures from the set. We'll be back here talking about it tomorrow. As always, join us for more. We're gonna get into it and do our fan theories as we always do. Join us in the live chat. We love hearing from you guys. It's almost as if we are all getting here together and putting together a little bit of a family of our own, if you will.
What's real is family.
And with that said, and on that bombshell, it's time to end the show. We will see you next time tomorrow on another episode of DCU Daily.
One more thing. I did want to mention this one thing. If you didn't catch the entire live show, remember, you can always be kind and rewind. I'm out.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm out.
That's perfect.
There we go.
We also have a live edition of the Also Curious show tomorrow. Be kind.
I gotta wear
rewind.
the
Hell
shirt
yeah.
then. I gotta keep wearing this because
You,
it's like,
you gotta
hey,
you gotta
you
keep
missed it.
wearing.
Be kind, rewind. Even though everybody here probably doesn't even know what a VHS tape is, but you know,
dude,
that's all that matters.
that's how I watched my Batman and Superman back in the day.
I have like a fucking trunk full of VHS tapes in my room right now that I'm trying to get rid of. So, boom, there you go. If you need
there
VHS,
you
got them.
Well, tomorrow, a programming reminder, of course, we got the Also Curious show back tomorrow. We're going to be reviewing The Bike Riders. We're going to be reviewing A Quiet Place. And we're also going to have more DC news on there. We got another episode of DCU Daily. And we're going to look ahead to the movies next week, that Kevin Costner film Horizon, which is getting very mixed reviews. And the latest pictures and breaking news from the Superman movie. We're going to dive into that as well. So do come back here and join us for that. And as always, go out there, watch something DC related. Check out these images we've been going over on cleveland.com. Just Jared. If you're on X, it's all over social media. And, you know, enjoy the inside looks at the movie before it comes out. It's now just over a year away. We're, you know, literally around 12 or 13 months away from Superman coming out. So it's been great talking to you guys this week. We'll be back tomorrow with more. Until then, guys, have a good rest of your evening, day, wherever you are joining us from all across the world. We'll see you here next time on another episode of DCU Daily.